I knew something was wrong the moment I stepped through the door. Not because of the silence, my house was always quiet. Not because of the smell, someone had opened a cheap floral spray I never used. But because the air felt occupied. I set down the fishing rods, water still dripping from the tips, and walked down the hallway. The floor creaked under someone else's weight, not mine. Then I reached the end of the hall. My bedroom was gone. Not empty, not messy, gone. The door stood open like a mouth pried wide, and inside, where my bed, my dresser, my life had been, stood boxes that weren't mine. Clothes thrown across the floor, a pink duffel bag slouched in the corner like a lazy intruder. And her, my nephew's girlfriend, sitting at the edge of a mattress they dragged in from the guest room, smiling like she'd been waiting for me to see this. "We're staying permanently," she said, a soft voice, sugary, rehearsed. I stood there, still soaked from the river, still holding the quiet peace I'd collected on the water. Something inside me folded in on itself, quietly, neatly. "I see," I said. She tilted her head, confident, certain she'd won whatever game she thought she was playing. Then I gave her the line she never saw coming. "You have 72 hours to leave." Her smile died before she could save it. And that was the moment I knew something deeper was hiding under all this, something they didn't want me to discover. Their move-in wasn't the betrayal, it was the symptom. The real wound was older, quieter, already rotting beneath the surface. I noticed it as she scrambled for an answer, pretending she'd misunderstood, pretending this was a joke. My nephew stepped into the hallway behind her, shirt untucked, hair a mess, eyes too confident for someone standing in a room he didn't own. He avoided my eyes. That told me enough. But suspicion is a slow, patient thing. It doesn't scream, it whispers. And it whispered to me that this wasn't sudden. They'd been here while I was gone before, maybe many times. I replayed the last few months in my head. Her too sweet greetings, my nephew's sudden generosity, the quiet conversations that stopped when I walked in, the way my belongings had shifted by inches, the missing bottle of cologne I thought I'd misplaced, the faint smell of perfume on my pillow weeks ago. Little fractures. I hadn't wanted to see them. But betrayal rarely starts loud. It starts with a soft knock behind your ribs. I didn't raise my voice, didn't ask questions, didn't accuse. Questions give power. Silence holds it. So I stepped back from the doorway and simply said, 3 days. Then I walked past them as if I were the one occupying their space instead of the other way around. Inside, something tightened, like a fist closing around a truth I hadn't allowed myself to touch. Infidelity isn't always romantic. Sometimes it's loyalty bent backward. Family choosing comfort over respect. People taking pieces of you without asking because they think you won't notice. But I did. And the more I thought about it, the clearer it became. They weren't just moving in. They were planning to stay. Because they believed I wouldn't stop them. I didn't confront them. I observed. My nephew left for errands that lasted too long. She stayed behind, going through my drawers when she thought I wasn't watching. They whispered in the kitchen. They took calls outside. They spoke in half sentences meant to hide full truths. I checked phone bills, bank notifications, camera logs. Patterns emerged. Times they entered the house when I wasn't home. Purchases made using accounts they shouldn't have access to. Nights she spent here when my nephew claimed to be somewhere else entirely. Every detail tightened the knot inside my chest. 3 days became a countdown, not to their eviction, to their exposure. On the third night I placed the printed records on the kitchen table, timestamps, camera captures, bank logs. I didn't call them over, I just sat and waited. They walked in together, laughing. The laughter died when they saw the papers. My nephew froze. She didn't. She tried to explain, tried to spin a story built on panic and arrogance. I listened. Then I said a single sentence. You didn't just cross a line. You built a home on the other side. The color drained from both their faces. I slid the eviction notice across the table. Already signed, already filed, already approved. Their 3 days were up. They left before sunrise. No apology, no confrontation. Just the sound of their footsteps fading down the driveway. I walked back to my room again, and let the emptiness settle. Peace doesn't return. You reclaim it. And I did. Quietly, completely, finally.